I may be the smartest guy in Chattanooga with bow tie, and that is to let you, my listener, who is in another category of neckwear, be the smartest guy in your category, right? Whether it's a straight tie, maybe you have just a T-shirt, maybe a sports shirt, or an open front business shirt, whatever you have in the way of collar wear, you can be the leading person in your category. Just give me 5 minutes every day of your time here at 92.7 Nooga Radio and also 95.3 FM HD4. That's high definition channel 4, 95.3. Make sure you make that note on your in your mind when you're out of the range of our powerful 92.7 signal. We are reaching out 60 miles with our second station. That's 95.3 HD. For David Toulis, I cover local economy and the free market every day here, and I love hearing about how the free market is as a concept works. And since I'm a dad of 4 children, all of them homeschooled, I love hearing about how to encourage young people to love the idea of business, the idea of service and entrepreneurship. And I don't know that I have a daughter who's a sculptress, so she's a businesswoman of sorts, you could say. But then I have two others who are not at home. The son is a kind of computer security geek, and the other works is a welder in a factory. And then one more at home. None of them seem to be entrepreneurially minded, though I've tried, and I have made great efforts with the assistance of Rhea Perry. Rhea Perry is a businesswoman and a homeschool mom, and she runs a concern called Educating for Success. Now, Rhea, you're going to be here in Chattanooga in just a couple of days. Why are you here, and what will you be saying, Rhea Perry?
Well, hey, David, it's great to be here and talk with your listeners about home business, because this is something that I totally love. I am coming to Chattanooga, as I have been doing for many, many years, to one of my favorite homeschool conventions in the whole world. And that's one that you guys have been putting on for many years at the Jordan Arena, to share about home business tactics and principles and how they relate to education. We've homeschooled our children for almost 30 years. We had 7 children, my husband and I did. And when my husband encouraged me to start talking about homeschooling, I was not excited at all. And I told him I'd give it a shot and try it 1 year. Well, that was in 1987. And we just kept on going 1 year after another. And when we got to the high school years, we were just kind of concerned that we didn't want our children to just kind of fall into a rut life. My husband had almost 2 master's degrees, but he never made as much money as he should have made, being as smart as he was. He unfortunately died several years ago. But he wanted our 7 children to have a better education in the home business arena so that they could work for themselves. So we stumbled into some things. 3 of our kids knocked it out of the park. The oldest son, who was my second child, actually brought his dad home from corporate America in just 3 years. When he was about 18, he discovered real estate, and he started selling real estate on eBay, created a system for selling houses on eBay that had never been done before, and created a course to sell to real estate investors who wanted to learn how to use the internet. And so pretty much he was retired by the time he was about 20. He's still engaged in a variety of different business ventures. He does what he wants to. He's fixing to have baby number 8. And then number 2 had apprenticeship opportunity with a commercial industrial roofer. And so he created his own business. And so several of these boys have just had marvelous experiences with home business based on the education that they had. None of them went to college. And so we just share those success stories with other people. And homeschoolers can easily incorporate entrepreneurial education and basic economics in what they're doing for the high school years. So I'm coming to Chattanooga to share some of those secrets and tips with the homeschoolers that are coming to the convention.
All right, and that's the Homeschooling Expo, and it'll be probably 1,000 families or so, and that's Friday and Saturday. And each day it starts at 9 at Camp Jordan Arena. There's it's $8 per family for 2 days, and it's 9 to 6 on Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday. And we're talking with Rhea Perry. So, Educating for Success, Rhea, in your conferences and courses, is it always geared for homeschool people? Are homeschool people somehow different or better than my listener who is a public school dad or a public school mom? How can they take advantage of what you have to offer?
Oh, absolutely. It's just easier for homeschoolers to integrate education like that, especially during the high school and junior high years, because they have so much flexibility with the curriculum choices that are out there. And they can also weave in some mentoring. So they can, take advantage of a variety of different things and basically tailor the education that they're going to give to every single child of theirs to meet their needs and to go in their own specific direction. Because, as you know, David, I know you have several children. They're not all alike. And what fits for one just doesn't fit for another one. And so with homeschooling, you have the opportunity to tailor their education to meet their demands and fit their personality styles and help them choose the career path early on that they would like to go on. And if they have to go to college to do whatever it is that they want to do, then that's totally fine. They should totally do that. I went to college. My husband was a public school teacher, and I have a degree in education. But we just saw that there were some other things that we could do and creatively to be able to enhance our children's education. So we just built those into what we were doing. And now most of my children have their own businesses. A few of them have jobs where they work for other people. And that's totally fine because everybody's different and they need to find the thing that they need to do with their lives that best fits their personality and their goals and their risk level and all. And so that's what we do with homeschooling. But for anyone who has children who are in public school or Christian school or private school, yes, there's still things that you can do on the side. Like we really encourage families to start home businesses part-time and work together with their children. And so if your children are in public school, which we do have some people in our online community who do have children in public school, they are totally welcome to, work with them on the side after they have schoolwork, taken care of during the day.
Well, how should my listener who's thinking right now as you're making these comments about a son, how can the listener find that, what you said to him about understanding his son or dealing with his son or conversing with that young person to draw from him the part of his character that could be a service to others? Because in the end, every business has someone is trying to serve. So what the mom or dad wants to do is to find that particular gift in that child, that particular area of genius, and say, how can we make that, turn that gift or that special inclination or interest into something that can be of service to people. And once that young person sees there's some service that can be rendered, maybe for God's glory, or I would say hopefully for God's glory, then that can be converted into something that generates a cash flow that then supports that effort. What do you say to a mom or dad thinking about that young person? How does mom or dad need to think about that personality, that character?
Sure. Well, the first thing to do is just to ask the child what they're interested in, because there are so many things that you can do these days. Unfortunately, a lot of these kids are going to say they want to play video games, and that's not exactly an option. You can make money doing that. You can make money playing them. You can make money designing them. But there are other things out there in the world that, like you said, there are businesses meet needs. There are services that need to be provided, and that's what business does. Business is not a wicked thing. It is actually God's way of mankind meeting each other's needs. And you have a product or service, I have money, we exchange it, it's a win-win situation. And so what business is basically God's provision, I believe. And home business is pretty much the foundation of that whole thing. And so what we've taken in the Industrial Revolution is a step toward institutionalizing that so that it's now a little bit different than it always has been. So what we're trying to do is get back to families working together and providing products and services to meet some kind of demand. So the thing to do to start with a child is just to say, what are you interested in? And of course, a lot of young people don't really know what the options are. So my company hosts a home business conference once a year where we bring in experts who work from home who can teach people how to do a variety of different things so that they can get kind of a glimpse, a smorgasbord experience to understand some of the options that are out there. Then the parents can communicate with the children and say, now that we've seen some options, what are you interested in? And then they can go in a direction after they've had a little bit of experience. At the conference coming up this weekend, I'm doing a workshop called 5 Home Business that can start from home.
Wait, Rhea Perry, you're breaking up on me. Can you say that again, please? You're breaking up.
I'm sorry. I'm doing a workshop this weekend at the homeschool convention in Chattanooga called 5 Home Business Projects that teach financial literacy and create income. So I'm just basically giving whoever comes to that workshop an overview of 5, and actually it's not 5, it's 6, that you always are supposed to over deliver, under promise and over deliver. And so I'm giving 6, but did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. You're promising 5 and you're going to deliver 6.
Right. And so they'll get a glimpse of some options that are out there, and that way they can talk together and say, "Hey, which one of these things do you want to go, learn more about?" So then that gives them something to talk about at the dinner table.
Well, of these, Rhea Perry, let me ask you about the internet. Our children are fascinated with the internet. They are maybe on it too much. They have, some of them, smartphones at a young age. Perhaps there's some dangers we could mention at another time there. But is it possible to have an internet business, like an internet store, that actually brings some kind of service and brings some kind of return? Is it possible, or is the internet just so saturated that the young person is best suited to, or best advised to think of something dealing with real people in real space and real time? Rhea Perry.
Well, actually, the internet is just a vehicle for delivering information and building relationships. So it's here to stay, and it is the mainstream of commerce right now. I would not say it's saturated in any way whatsoever. Yes, you can incorporate online and offline together, because that's what I do at my company. I have an online Facebook group. It's a community, and people also come to live conferences that we have. So we have online and offline presence. We have online day after day. Then we have our offline presence only twice a year. But you can create a business that will do anything that you need for it to do, but it needs to have a presence on the internet these days, so that you can get out in front of the people that you're trying to serve. Now, one other thing we love to teach people how to do is invest, and investing can be done offline with real estate and other things like that. But you can there's also an online element of the investing too, like cryptocurrency. You can make a lot of money with Bitcoin and Ethereum and the altcoins right now. A lot of people have. I know lots of friends who have made a ton of money with things like that. So those are all pretty much internet-based. The thing to do with protecting your children from the internet, from the evils of it, is to put those child blockers on it. The
like Conan Eyes, perhaps.
Right.
Well, you mentioned Bitcoin, and there was a story, I think, on the front page, the front inside page of the Wall Street Journal in the past 2 or 3 days, pointing out that there's gigantic fraud and theft at the exchanges for these cryptocurrencies, especially in Asia. So that seems an area rife with danger, Rhea Perry.
Right, absolutely. Well, and anytime that you're in any kind of an arena whatsoever, there's always going to be people who don't play by the rules, who don't do things that are correct. But there are a lot of people who have made a lot of money in this arena already, and even though there can be some fraud in the situation, you have to protect yourself. And most of the exchanges are set up in a way so that they have verification processes put in place to protect you. But you have to be wise with everything that you do, and not just believe everything that you hear. Also, the other thing is the financial world is not super excited about the cryptocurrency world, because it's an alternative currency that is pulling money out of the mainstream financial world into a virtual reality. So, the reports coming from that arena are probably not going to be super positive. However, there are people that are making money from that.
Now, you're going to be holding a conference, a home business conference in Katy, Kentucky. That's, I guess you'd say it KDIS, but you say there's an unusual pronunciation for that town, in August 9 to 11. And that's a home business conference that your company, Educating for Success, Rhea Perry, will be putting on. Will you have someone there who will be talking about these, sort of, I would say, somewhat dangerous areas of cryptocurrency, or is that just something that you're just mentioning here?
We do. We have the advisor for Forbes that will be speaking about cryptocurrency there. He's spoken for us before and loves our group, and so he'll be there on hand. And he talks about the pitfalls of it, but also the strengths of it too. So he's been in that arena for quite a while, even though it's not very old. I mean, I think Bitcoin only started in like 2009. So this whole crypto world is not very old. But he is a pretty experienced expert in that arena, so he'll be able to talk about that. But we also have experts that will be there to talk about other things, such as real estate, Fiverr, e-commerce, Shopify, Amazon, things like that. there's a lot of different options. We give a broad spectrum of different opportunities to engage in home business of different types.
Rhea Perry runs Educating for Success, and she'll be here in Chattanooga Friday and Saturday at the Homeschool Expo. That's an event you can find out more about, and that's at csthea.org, or CSThea, as we say. That's csthea.org. And the main flyer is on the front page. And there's also a window at that website with details about some of the many other exhibitors. This is put on by an organization that has the best exhibitors for the homeschool, free market and education sector, perhaps in the country, I would suggest. It's Friday at 9 and Saturday also at 9. Friday goes all the way till 6 p.m., just at dinner time. And Saturday goes to 4 p.m. and it's $8 per family to get in. And again, you can register online if you want to get in more quickly, and that's csthea.org. And we're talking with Rhea Perry. So Rhea, many of the people who are your listeners and customers and attendees at your conferences are Christians. How is it that the Christian ethic makes one potentially, as a young person, a better businessman or better entrepreneur? What in Christianity brings the best out in that young person?
Well, our purpose in life is to know God and to make him known. And so if you're going to make him known, there are several ways you can do that. You can be an outright missionary and just focus your entire life on spreading the gospel, but you can also help other people with their tangible needs. And so home business to me is the next best thing to being a full-time missionary that's out in the marketplace, because what we do is we call this marketplace ministry, where if you have your own business, you're free to spend your time doing anything you want to. You can hire anybody you want to. You can create products and services to serve all people in all kinds of different ways. And so to me, business is and should be ministry. And it also empowers you financially so that you can create jobs. Business is supposed to create jobs, not government. And the more people you can employ, and the more people that you can spread your money around with, the better your entire local community is going to benefit. And so I believe that home business is something that every Christian family should look at, because I just believe that that's one of God's basic ways. Now, we haven't been taught that. We haven't been trained to think like entrepreneurs. We've been trained through our government education system to get jobs. That's been fairly recent, since the 50s. But I believe that if you get back to God's ways, he loves the home to be the center of everything. It's the center of ministry. It's the center of education. It's the center of nutrition and health and all that. And so,
the center of government.
Business and government, right? Why not business?
Right. Well, self-government begins in the home, and a self-governing people, we would want to suggest here on the David Tula Show, is a people that in the end will be blessed with liberty and freedom, whereas people who don't govern themselves, who are not self-governing and don't mind God's commands, they will by requirement of the way God made things, have to be subjugated under others and under tyrannies and despotisms, which are there to bring them a painful note about government. And we want less external government and more internal government. And we're talking with Rhea Perry, who will be at the Homeschool Expo this weekend. That's Friday and Saturday here in East Ridge at Camp Jordan, the wonderful Camp Jordan. That was long overseen by Stump Martin. We'll miss him as we are there. And the group is Educating for Success. Now, just quickly, one of my mottos, Rhea Perry, is that Chattanooga, and maybe your town too, in Alabama, needs more owners. It doesn't need more employees. It needs more owners. And what you're hoping is that by training children young to serve other people, we'll create a body of Americans, maybe here in our area, Chattanoogans, who are owners and not just employees or servants. Rhea Perry.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. Because I really believe that if we empowered our families with education, then they would be able to work together from home, doing things that they enjoy doing, but also serving the community. And it just strengthens the family to be able to work together, because I grew up in a family where my mom and dad both had a job. My brother and I both went to school, and we lived 4 different people in one house, but we never really intersected with each other. It was just kind of a erratic lifestyle. And I just have experienced a different way of life since we've started homeschooling our children. We live on a farm now. We actually live in Tennessee. We have an Alabama address, but we do live in Tennessee. But we live out here in the middle of nowhere. We grow our food. We had, my older children have bought farms right around my farm. And so we're all kind of living here closer together, but we interact with each other on a, somewhat regular basis. And I believe that that's what God has for us to do, is to live in families. And then once they marry and step out, they, step out, a little bit away from distance, but they're still there so that if they have needs, they have needs to serve each other.
Rhea Perry, thanks so much for joining us. We're talking with Rhea Perry, and she will be at the Homeschool Expo Friday and Saturday. This is David Toulis. Come by, many educational opportunities.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's News Now.
More details after a body was found in a dumpster in Chattanooga. The body was confirmed to belong to 60-year-old Robert Townsend. He was found in a dumpster on Laura Street behind Memorial Hospital. We're still waiting on cause of death. The race for Senate is neck and neck in Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn has narrowly outfunded former Governor Phil Bredesen. Bredesen has outspent Blackburn, however, by over $1 million. Voters decide who their next